What is going on, everyone? It is a Wednesday edition of Backyard Play. Rich Quinones here. Hope everyone is doing well. That, of course, unless you are a New York Giant fan and a New York Jet fan. But as always, appreciate everyone checking out the show on the YouTube channel at Rich Q. So, listen, this is where we're at. I mean, I'm trying to walk some people off the ledge. And I got to be honest, it's just one of these horrible starts to a football season, especially if you're a Giant fan. And you got to start with the New York Jets because the New York Jets put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and it lasted 4 snaps. I mean, think about that for a moment. All the hype, all the 6, 7 months, the courtship, the going after Aaron Rodgers, the teasing, the back and forth, and here you go, you finally get Rodgers, Edison from the Packers, and you're giving up a lot for Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, you're mortgaging the future, and you're putting all your eggs in one basket with Aaron Rodgers, and comes in great shape. There we go. Looked sharp in the preseason, albeit maybe that calf strain was a precursor to things to come. And boom, what happens? 4 snaps in on really kind of a fluky play, right? A lot of people are going to sit there and say it's on Rodgers, it's on the tackle. So be it. The turf, the rain, whatever, what have you. Tears his ACL. And look, we don't know if Aaron Rodgers' career is over. But at 38, 39, that's a hell of an injury to try to rehab from. And it's just one of these situations where if you're a Jet fan, it's so demoralizing, disheartening. You've got this dejected feeling right now where you figure this is a snake bitten franchise. And I will say this, I'm going to caution the Jet fan for a moment. I'm going to caution the Jet fan where the season's not lost. Okay? The season is not lost. The New York Jets can still win football games. Now, they're going to do it led by Zach Wilson because you're not getting a quarterback. Stop with the get this guy off the street or go after this guy or, the Tom Brady's of the world. That's not happening. The Kaepernick, stop with the nonsense with that crap, please. Zach Wilson right now is a starter for the Jets going forward. And they got to man up and they got to take on the Dallas Cowboys, who waxed the Giants 40-0 on Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, Sunday Night Football. I'll get into that in a moment. But if the Jets can run the football and they can play defense, we saw what they were able to do against a good Buffalo Bills team. Now, granted, Josh Allen did not play particularly well in that game with the turnovers, 3 turnovers and a fumble. Jets get the punt return for a touchdown in overtime. That is a gut check win if you are a New York Jet fan. So this whole the end of the world, we can't win without Aaron Rodgers, folks, you just got to move past it. You can't whine, bitch, moan, and complain anymore. You have to move along, next man up. This is the NFL. 31 other teams don't care that Aaron Rodgers went down. I mean, the NFL cares, obviously, because you want Aaron Rodgers out there. It makes for much more enjoyable football, must-watch football. But now you have to kind of put your eggs in the Zach Wilson basket, and you got to hope that this kid, the light goes on, and this kid shows you he can play a little bit. And man, it's tough sledding, but the season is not lost if you're a Jet fan. The season is not lost if you are a Jet fan. Ho-hum, jump off the bridge, what have you. It's not lost. They're going to win some games, and I'm not going to sit here and say this is Matt Castle winning 11 for New England when Brady goes down. I'm not going to sit here and say this is Kurt Warner, unheralded, bagging groceries, no one heard of him, taking that Rams team all the way to Super Bowl, winning it when Trent Green goes down. I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is the Jets will go and they'll get a veteran quarterback. But for the time being, yeah, it's Zach Wilson's team. It's Zach Wilson's team, period, at this moment, right? And if this team can turn around and win 7, 8, 9 games, that's a hell of a job by Robert Salah. But it's not the end of the world if you're a Jets fan. It's just unfortunate. Rodgers goes down, 4 snaps in, and who knows? That's a tough injury to come back from, man. A really tough injury to come back from. As far as the New York Football Giants, they didn't even show up. It's amazing how one series can kind of set the tone for a season. Uh, you're moving the ball. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, the legs are getting it done against the Dallas Cowboys. Rain coming down on a Sunday night, and here we go. You get 3rd and 2. You get the false start by Thomas. You get the bad snap, puts you back, long field goal to attempt to block, picked up and run back the other way by the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty much setting the tone for that night for the Giants, who were so beyond uncompetitive. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. That game was done at the half, and Brian Dable, we're not going to say that the bloom is off the rose right now because they got waxed against the Dallas Cowboys, a team they can't beat, mind you. Under no circumstances do you allow Daniel Jones to still be in that game late when you're down like that, and your offensive line is giving up pressure and sacks to Daniel Jones, your $160 million quarterback. I mean, that's just freaking malpractice by Brian Dable. I mean, and shame some of the media didn't even go after him and question that. But that's just horrible. You get that kid out of there, Paul, please. So the Giants got to go to Arizona. Arizona's defense played well against Washington. Washington did get the win. How looked okay. And then you had the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East as we rounded out. Philadelphia Eagles, not the best performance, a little sloppy against New England. Give New England their defense, Mac Jones, credit. They hung in there. You had an opportunity to win that game as well. Little surprise there, the Eagles going to get their ground game going. Short week, Minnesota on Thursday night. They're going to be without some players. We'll dissect it a little more. 5:30 Eastern time with back to play with Q myself. Glenn Irby, who covers the Eagles, will join us. So they got to deal with some injuries. Short week. Tomorrow night, you turn around home opener against Minnesota, but the Eagles got the win. I thought the Cowboys, very impressive win. We talked a little bit last week about the Lions to jumpstart the season, big win against Kansas City. For my money, two of the most impressive wins, the Browns and their defense, shutting down Cincinnati's offense. Burrow was horrible. The Brownies get the win. And then you've got the San Francisco 49ers, who just cleaned the clocks of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they look like a juggernaut. I mean, Dallas, the Lions, 49ers kind of put in the NFL on notice in week one. Miami, Tua looked really good in that game against the Chargers, lighting up the world on fire. I still don't know why this kid gets zero respect, but I'm a Tua fan. I just am. I think their offense is going to score a boatload of points. You're starting to see already in the AFC, right? The teams leaking oil, and it's only week one, and that's not a good thing. If you are some teams out there, they got to fix the defense. How about Peyton starting off the game for Denver with the onside kick? But still, the Raiders get the win. We like the Raiders. We had them in our Q's pick segment on Friday, so good for the Raiders to get a win. Carr with the Saints. How about this in his debut? Looked sharp. They were able to make some plays late. I like Carr. I like the fit with New Orleans. We had them winning that division. We talked a lot about that team, too, in the offseason. Just by default, you would say to yourself that they're the team to beat coming out of the NFC South. Rookie quarterbacks, we knew they were going to have some issues heading into the season. Young, Stroud, Richardson, they all did. They're going to show promise and flashes as the season goes on. We know that. How about Jordan Love in Green Bay? Absolutely waxing Chicago. I told you, Chicago stinks. And you always feel bad for Justin Fields, but the quarterback that was so under the microscope, Love, had himself a freaking game the other day, and that was a big win by the Green Bay Packers. What they put up 38 points in that contest against Chicago. Minnesota, who the Eagles are going to see. The question mark, once again, Minnesota, same page with the wide receivers, Captain Kirk. Here we go. Not the best performance by the Minnesota Vikings in 2017 loss to Tampa Bay. We talked a little bit about the AFC North. Baltimore gets the win. AFC South, Jacksonville had to fight a hard game against Indianapolis, who's showing you that they will be a tough out going forward. They're a well-coached team. Tennessee, I think, is going to have some issues this year, and you might see that quarterback get benched. Vrabel's certainly going to be on the hot seat. And then you've got the NFC South, NFC West. Arizona, we talked about, gets the L against Washington. Seattle lost to the Rams. So the Rams and 49ers, 1-0. Atlanta and Tampa Bay and the Saints. 1-0. But for my money, if I'm backing my play with 3 teams that I thought were really impressive over the weekend, San Francisco, Dallas. We talked about the Lions, and I have to give the nod to Cleveland for shutting down that Cincinnati Bengals offense. But the big story, the one that takes center stage, is the Jets losing Aaron Rodgers. And as I alluded to, Jet fans might think it's the end of the world. Here we go. You got to be kidding me. Snake Bit franchise. Vinny Testaverde in '99 after they made the AFC Championship in 1998. Fluke played open up the season on the fumble against New England. You're going to have to ride this defense now, man. You're going to have to ride this defense out, and whether they go and get a veteran quarterback to back up Zach, or whether they go all in. Like I mentioned this last year, I was surprised he was still with the Jets. I thought they would hang on to White. White signs as a backup with Tua in Miami, but it's Wilson's team right now. And the Jets are going to have to show you some moxie with that defense, and they're going to have to friggin' win some games with their defense. All right, so there's a quick look at week 1 on a shortened edition of BYP with Steve. Check out the YouTube channel as always. If you like the content, subscribe. We appreciate the support and the banter as well. You can follow me all over the place. You've got me on HSRN, also part of the own media network, 1029 The Game in Tampa, Broad Street South, and Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, BYP. We got a good show coming up, 5:30 Eastern Time. Glenn Irby covers the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk some Eagles-Vikings with him, and then we'll talk a little gambling lines later on in the evening with our guy, Professor Shine, as well. And that's brought to you by our good friends over at Play It Again Sports. We'll talk to you in about 20 minutes. We appreciate everyone keeping us locked in for a short version as we recap week 1 of the NFL on BYP.